Hey guys, it's Eric from Edrumcenter here, and we're going to talk about the new EFNOTE Mini kit, which just came out. We saw it at NAMM in January, but we just got our first shipment, which was very small, but we wanted to do a video on it. Here's the owner's manual and drum key and stuff. So basically, what this kit what it is essentially is a smaller version of the EFNOTE 5, more or less. It's not the same module or anything. Everything's smaller on it, but it's basically the same playing experience, like a high-end, really good hi-hat, good sounds and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So here's what it comes with. It's got the EFNOTE Mini module, which is a smaller, simplified module than the 3 through the 7 that have already been out. The sizes of the drums are 8-inch mounted tom, 10-inch snare, 10-inch floor tom, 14-inch kick drum, 12-inch hi-hat, 8-inch splash, and a 16-inch ride. And the module has built-in Bluetooth and on a left and right out on a 1/4 inch for audio. It also has 8 channels of USB audio on the micro USB and MIDI over USB as well. So that's pretty much it. Now we'll just talk about it. So we set this thing up. Everybody got a chance to play on it, and there's going to be some playing later at the end of the video if you want to hear some demos real quick. And also later on in a second video, we'll do all the patches and presets just playing so you can hear the module in its glory. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Can I start with a question?
Yeah.
Since I didn't actually get to take part in the actual setting up of it, what was that experience like?
It was easy. I would say the only complication we ran into was
The module mount.
No, the module mount. One thing we would like is the hatched clamps.
Yeah.
Because right now you have to like back out the
Tension
screws,
rod.
and they're long screws. Not a big deal, but like if you're going to set up and tear this thing down all the time, those hatch clamps would make it that easier.
It'd be
and faster.
nice, yeah, for sure.
And I'm pretty sure their intention with those, because they use the same design for the splashes as well. And I think the main goal there is that you're going to put it on something and never ever take it off.
Yeah.
But I agree that I've kind of run into some issues with those with the other kits as well too. But cool. It looked like it went up super fast, which I know
It was super fast and very easy plug and play. No, learning curve on just sitting down and playing it. Just everything just kind of works.
I think with the clamp thing too, like I think I put it in the wrong spot at first. And
We
then
did.
I had to take it off. I was like,
We put the splash, we mounted it to the bass drum,
Yeah.
and they wanted you to mount it onto the hi-hat stand.
Right.
And once we did that, the bass drum was a little unstable when we had it on there. After we moved it to the hi-hat stand, all that kind of cleaned up. Another thing was a little bit, not odd, but just like the Tama pedal that we chose to hook up to it, just the way it attaches made the bass drum a little wobbly, right? And then once we figured that out, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was just how we were attaching it.
It looks like because it's got a lift built into it, right?
Yes.
Does the lift move forward? Because it felt like it kind of shifted a
I think
little
it's
bit.
fixed.
Is it fixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have a pedal that like attaches and it just doesn't like the way that lip is, the little ridge, you might have to play around with the pedal to get it to sit kind of where you want it, if that makes sense. Not every pedal has has the same way of mounting. So one thing I really like about, and Andy brought this up, I like this and I don't like it. I'm 6'3", so sitting down this thing feels a little small to me, but if I was just gonna go to like a small like restaurant gig or a buddy's house, I just don't want to take my 20-inch kick drum kit in my 14-inch snare, and I could throw this all in the back seat. It's much easier to set up and tear down. I can
feel
totally see
like
that happen.
if you did it right, you could probably carry this entire kit on your back at one day. Like I really think if you did it right, it would
very
be
small.
like a one trip in and out kind of.
Like the bass drum is the size of a snare drum, like diameter wise.
True.
So I mean, it's
or floor tom.
It's crazy small, but it sounds like any other electronic drum kit. The sound's fine. It feels good. You can put it in a corner of your apartment if you're lacking space. I think that's the big selling point for me, is it just doesn't take any space up. You know, and you got that little splash cymbal, and it's basically just a crash.
Yeah,
but it's
you
tiny.
can assign anything you want to the sounds.
Exactly. So how many presets are on it?
I think it was 12.
12.
So it's a little less
Right
than
Yeah, not quite as many as like an EFNOTE 5.
excuse me.
But what they did is it's not all the same kits as EFNOTE 5. They took some of the kits from the Pro module, some of the kits from the other modules, kind of like a greatest hits type of thing. And
Yeah, it
that's
had
what they chose to put in there.
the Metal Masters kit on there, which is, I think, only on the 7X, if I believe. So it's kind of cool that they had that one of their newer kits put on this
Yeah, the kits
module.
they chose were, I think, were good. Everybody,
I didn't get to
Found
play
one I
through
liked.
all of them, but every one that I played on, I liked.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
They sounded great.
Look at that thing. It's not even up to my knee.
Well, it's really funny to
Awesome.
me too. Like you can see in the back, there's right behind Andy. There's that 22-inch Pearl kick drum, and when he moves here in a second, you can tell how tiny that bass drum is on the Mini.
Yeah, we put that kit there for scale.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. It does what it's supposed to do.
Look at that floor toms.
So a couple things I thought was cool about this kit that was different from other F-Note kits was, one, and I noticed it when earlier in the video when they first pulled the module out, the left and right input are on the module itself rather than a cable snake, which is kind of cool. It has less things than the other kit, so it doesn't need that second cable snake, so that's why they did it that way, but it is cool that it's just on the module. And then also the harness is silver, and just that kind of adds some more like continuity to the whole drum kit, being the white sparkle with silver rims and all that, and then the cable snake matches it instead of being the black cables like we're used to. So that was kind of cool, just a little quality of life and little touches on things. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. So
One of the things I like about the module too is that it's got like that almost like brushed paint kind of, it's like a matte finish almost.
Yeah.
So it feels, it's not polished like some of their other ones, but it feels nice, and in a weird way it almost makes it feel more high end. But I like as Aubrey pointed out, the fact that all the connections are just straight into the module. You don't have any extra dangling bits anywhere that you don't need.
I am putting on the clamp in the wrong spot, and you can see how long this takes because of that.
Yeah, let's watch him do it wrong. Nice.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like, and if you put it in the wrong place, then you're like, then I got to take it off and do this all over again. I thought it was a little off to the right a little bit when we set it up, and I was like, well, I guess I could work with that. But when you said it was supposed to be off the hi-hat, I was like, well, that fixes a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
If you haven't watched one of our videos before, we set up everything without looking at the manual. We do this on purpose, and we try and come up with things to suggest to do so you don't screw up like we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any like hidden parts that are in the boxes, we try and point that out. There was none of that really on this kit.
no, it was pretty simple, honestly.
The only thing that was tricky was like the things we already talked about, the kick drum pedal, and if you look at the picture in the owner's manual, you'll quickly see that we shouldn't be setting up the splash here. We should have set up on the hi-hat stand.
Mhm.
It still would work here, or you could just put it on its own cymbal stand if you wanted to grab one. It's all doable.
I kind of want to point out here real quick too that while Andy is not a small guy, he's not a big guy either. And again, it kind of puts this into context how small this kit really is. Like it is a tiny little kit.
Yeah, I'm about 6 feet, so there I am being 6 feet right there. And,
6 feet
so-
sitting down.
But honestly, like when I started playing it, and once I adjusted the heights, it was fine. It was
Yeah.
comfortable.
No, I didn't notice it at all. And I mean, I used to play on a bop kit that was small sized anyway. It wasn't quite that small, but it was, close, and it felt like being home.
Right.
It was a nice little kit.
And you can put everything down and start like a kid on this too. I mean, it's not just for kids, obviously, but I mean, it would be good
I think
for
it's a
them.
great kit for kids because everything works so well. Like the hi-hat's only 12 inches, but don't get this clear. it's not any kind of a downgrade in your hi-hat experience. It's
No.
just as good as the F-Note Pro hi-hat. It's the
Mhm.
same hi-hat technology. So it's the best hi-hat in this price range, for sure. Probably the best sounds, natural sounds.
Yeah, you get the same great sounds and kits from F-Note we've known and loved, and just now in a smaller and lower cost kit.
Yeah.
One thing to note too, I was thinking about this, kind of circling back to the cable snake, which there Andy is unraveling it right there. So on top of the pads that come with this, you have one extra input on the cable snake, and it's marked Tom
2 Crash 2.
Tom 2 Crash 2.
Oh, two.
And I haven't tested it, you may know, but I'm pretty sure you just go in the module and select which one you want,
Yeah.
and it's gonna have your sounds already be for that. You don't have to go in and like edit the sounds or anything. You just pick. So if you add a pad, you've got one extra, but all you do have is one extra pad you can add.
Correct. Yeah. It could be a drum or a cymbal. You just have to sign it to be whatever you want it to be.
So that's cool. I didn't even actually realize that you could add on to this at all. I thought this was just as it was.
That's what happens when you open the manual, man.
Exactly.
But it's not crazy expandable.
No, just one.
No, just the one.
Okay, but for what it is, I think it's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Like as far as like for what if that's what if we want just a small electronic kit.
Yeah,
that has-
you can put this in the corner of your room and it won't take up that much space. Not that, I mean, it's kind of funny because the F-Note 5 was already a small kit, and
Yeah.
this is the smaller version of the F-Note 5.
I mean, I would take this on a jazz gig for sure.
Mm-hmm.
or just a wedding gig. I could play. You can play anything on this.
Yeah.
I mean, because of the fact that it's an electronic drum kit. So, it's got Metal Master preset on it and things like that.
Mhm.
It might look funny at a metal show,
Right.
but I mean, if I was doing like a wedding gig to where they're like, we really want you to play soft,
Mhm.
then yeah, I mean, I would be in and out of the gig pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you're playing like a bar where you have very limited room,
Mm-hmm.
that would help out a lot too. I can think of many venues that I've played at that this would have been a useful.
I've actually used an F-Note on a gig before, and it worked great. As I used my in-ears plugged into a mixer and ran it into the from the module, but it blended well with all the other instruments, and we were able to play at a really, really, really quiet level without the buyer of the wedding getting upset with us or anything like that. So
And you didn't feel like you lost any of your like feel or anything?
no, well, I mean, yeah, F-Note drums feel good. I thought they felt great, honestly. I was a little worried about that, but no, they were fine all night.
And you still, one thing too about this kit that's great is you get the cross stick thing on the snare, like
Mhm.
every one of their things has, and I can't think of any kit in that price range that has a cross stick on it like that.
No.
So.
Yeah, because cross stick on electronic drums can be weird sometimes. Sometimes.
The best experiences are usually the more expensive options.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And so this is probably the best, like Aubrey said, the best experience in the lower to mid price range for sure.
And
One
what-
thing to point out too is that it's the same trigger technology that's in their higher end stuff.
Mhm.
They didn't dumb down the triggers or make them like cheaper or anything. It's all made in the same factory, same like outside the trigger system, so there's no hot spotting.
Yeah, it really did just feel like one of their other kits.
Yeah.
That's all.
Just smaller
Just
size.
Yeah.
smaller.
The first 30 seconds of playing it, it was like, oh, this is different because it was
Yeah.
small. But then once I got used to it and just heard the F-Note sounds, I was like, oh, it's just playing an F-Note kit.
Yeah, in our playthrough, when I first played it, I went to hit the crash, and there was nothing there because it's only an 8-inch splash. But I was like, oh yeah, it's over here. I gotta hit that little tiny thing. Once I wrapped my head around that, it was fine.
And just like all other F-Note kits and really any kit, one thing to note, this does not this does not include a hi-hat stand, kick pedal, or throne. But
Make sure you
everything,
tighten everything down.
but everything else is included. You'll get the
We'll be
snare
making
stand
a
and
package
cymbal stand, so.
with that stuff if people need it.
Yeah.
What hardware did it come with? Did it come with the cymbal stand?
Yeah, cymbal stand and the snare stand.
And the
All the
tom
mounts.
stand and the
Yeah,
legs and
yeah,
all that,
all
obviously,
those
but
things, yeah.
No pedal, no hi-hat
hi-hat,
pedal.
no
or-
throne,
Okay,
no sticks.
No headphones.
But we have all
No
those
drummer.
things.
right, yeah.
Yeah, drummer not included.
All right. Well, anybody else have anything like? Was there any kind of downsides to this kit?
I mean,
I think a couple of us
really.
when they introduced it at NAMM, they were like, "We're it's going to be around 2," and we were hoping it'd be like $19.99.
Yeah.
And they came out with $21.99, which is still fine, I think, for what it is. Would have been cooler if it was $19.99.
as
Yes.
opposed to 2,000.
$21.99.
I'm joking.
One minor complaint of mine that I kind of thought of was I was kind of hoping, since this was a new module, it would have maybe a little less kits and more of the samples from the Pro module, just because the Pro module has more samples to give like some better, buzz rolls and stuff like that. And I was kind of hoping they would maybe add some of those sounds, but it seems to be more of the same vein as like the 3s, the 5s, and the 7s.
Which is good.
Yeah, which I shouldn't expect that, and that's why it's like barely considered a
Hey,
downside.
if
but
you want to get the Pro module to use with these drums,
you can do
we'll
it.
do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
can
he
do it.
tells you that.
So
But no, I came away from it thinking it was a great kit. Like like you said, if you're looking for a kit with high-end features and great pads and triggers, but you don't want to spend $4,000, this is a great option.
Yeah, big thumbs up from everybody on this one. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Leave your questions, comments, subscribe, like for more of this content, and we'll see you guys next time.
goodbye.